A few quick points to be shared, because not everybody would have attended our previous sessions in this series. See, when you appear for TCS interview, you always start with technical round followed by managerial round. Okay, and HR will be facilitating. Before we start with technical round, please make sure you are with some identity proof like Aadhaar card or PAN card. HR will initiate one formality where you will have to show that card on camera. They will capture those images, and followed by that, your technical interview will start. Okay. So we are not doing that formality. I would right away hand it over to Furkan and Hanumant to initiate with the technical round. Yeah, guys, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Hi, Furkan. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Furkan, let us start, with technical round. Could you please brief yourself?
Sure, sir.
Which includes your academics, family, and achievements or hobbies.
Sure, sir. Hi, sir. First of all, good evening. I'm Farhan Sheikh. Basically, I'm pursuing my final year of engineering from MGM College of Engineering and Technology, Nanded. Basically, I'm specialized in computer science technology. Along with my education, I've done plenty of technology courses from different platforms available like Coursera, Edureka, Udemy. After learning all these courses helped me to develop different projects at the college level. So I'm a polytechnical student as well. So in my 3 years of polytechnic and PG, I've developed a few projects and a few major projects. Out of these 2 major projects, one of the modern web development project, which was selected for the final round of Smart India Hackathon, and other project was one of the major project was I got this college sponsored project from my director of my college. It was a training and placement portal. It was a business requirement from my college. So I got an opportunity to design a project for my college. Apart from the technical thing, in the engineering and polytechnic, I got an opportunity to represent my class as a class representative for consecutive 5 years. And at the same time, I got an opportunity to represent the college in 2017 as a general secretary. My father is basically a district judge at one of the districts in Maharashtra named Srigunda, and my mother is a homemaker.
Great, good to hear. So if I ask, technology-wise, if I want to start with, which technology you are more, comfortable with? Anyway, we are doing C# today.
Yes, sir. So I'm quite handy with both C# as well as Python. I cannot differentiate between these two, but because I have done nearly equal amount of work in both the technologies. When it is up to C#, I've designed few games with the help of Unity, and I have designed the backend coding with the help of C#. I've always preferred Python to design the backend and API using the frameworks like Flask.
Great. So to start with, I just want to know, could you please scale on the basis of 1 to 10? How do you rate yourself? Where do you fall? The scale of 1 to 10.
So is it technical? Is it on technical basis?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So I would rate myself 6 out of 10, sir.
Great. Yeah. Let us start with. Could you please differentiate the reference and out parameters in C#?
Sure, sir. So basically, reference parameter is something which we use when we are calling a method as a reference. Basically, there are 2 ways of calling method. It's a call by value when we pass the value, and those values are then used and a lot of operations are performed. But call by reference is something different. When we pass the data using a reference, then it's a 2-way communication between calling method and a method which is called. So whatever changes you make either direction, it will be reflected in both the directions. So that's a ref parameter. So ref keyword basically helps you to call a method with the help of call by reference. And out parameter is something where if you, in case if you want to return more than 1 values from a function, so usually the language like C# does not allow more than 1 values with return statement. So in that case, you can use out parameter.
Okay, but we can pass reference variables multiple, right? That
Yes,
we
sir,
can
we
see
can.
that will reflect anyway in the calling area, right?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. Then how? That's what I am asking. The difference.
Sure, sir.
See, same thing I am getting here also.
Yes, sir. Actually, suppose if let's take an example of addition. So though we are calling a method by a reference, though it is reflecting both the way, but we need to store a result in some variable. So in that case, I'll create an output variable and then I'll pass that output variable to a method without parameters. So in that case, it's differentiate.
Okay, great. But sometimes I would definitely I have to go for pass by value. Can you tell me an example in which situation we will go for that pass by value?
Only
Sometimes
pass by value.
it is also very important. We have to go because many times when we are discussing, we will say that pass by reference is having more advantages than pass by value. But pass by value is also having very importance in one scenario. In which scenario? This is related to data. I just gave clue.
Let me think of it, sir. I'd like to think first. Uh, Most of the times, I personally preferred pass by value. Sorry, sir, I could not think of it.
See, when we want other people, when they don't want to touch our data, they can use our data just for their reference. They don't want to modify our calling area data, like driver program data. Then that is one of the reasons why we will still refer pass by value. Still, it is having its own importance, even though pass by reference is there and pass by out parameter concept is also there. But by value is having its own importance still, because we secure our data, like the person who has written the driver program. They want to secure their data from the person who is writing, using or writing the function which you called from driver program.
Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Yeah. Next, can you brief about using statement in C#?
Sure, sir. Using statement is just like an import statement in the programming languages like Java and Python. Using statement basically lets you use a particular namespace. So in C#, the related classes are gathered together into a namespace. So in a program, if I'm using some method, like a basic program is like console.writeLine. So writeLine is a method of some namespace. So I have to specify that namespace in a code, and that's why I have to make use of using statement.
Okay. You brought the concept of namespace here. I just got one doubt. Can we create our own user-defined namespaces?
Yes, so we can. Every time you create a new project in C#, it's a new namespace only. Whenever you create a new project, you can see the name of the project as a namespace and then your name of project. So it's nothing but a namespace.
Okay, great. Then I will go back to the same question. Why do we go for namespaces?
So namespaces is like it's like having so much related data all together gathered. Like we have a lot of data. So for example, C# has support for math functionality, support for front technologies as well. We have classes for front-end technologies. We have classes for math technology. We have to like separate based on the purpose, based on the use. So whenever the related classes are there, we gather together them into a particular package kind of thing. So we gather them into a namespace. So just to make the things pretty sorted, we use the namespaces.
Great. I will tell an example. Farkan written one namespace. Okay. Another friend of your colleague written another namespace. But both of you liked one variable or one function. So both of you used the same variable or same function in the respective namespace. Okay. Now I am inheriting. I am using both of your namespaces, Farkan namespace and Farkan's friend namespace. I am importing to my coding area. So my coding function. Okay. What types of error I might get over here if I won't use namespace word before variable? Yeah. I hope you got it there.
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it. The situation is like you are using two namespaces which are having same either methods or variable names. So it's complete. It's a clear case of ambiguity. So the compiler will get ambiguity, like it will get confused which to use. And this is the only reason probably I guess C# does not support the multiple inheritance of classes, because multiple inheritance definitely cause the ambiguity issue. So if you if you want to use either you name it differently or else you will end up the ambiguity error by the compiler.
Can't we use namespace before variable when we are using? Just think about it. Like class name dot variable.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get it.
Like class name dot variable. Like class name dot variable. Can't I use namespace dot class dot
Yes,
variable?
sir, yes.
That
Yes,
is the
sir, then
solution.
Yes. You have to go with the proper name space dot then the variable and methods.
Yes, that is always best practice when you are using multiple user defined namespaces, because there might be two developers can think the variable name always could be same, chances are there.
Yes, sir.
Then always prefer to use, that is one way.
Yes, sir.
Can you differentiate array and array list?
Sure, sir. Sir, array and array list both are the data structures. Like array is a data structure that is basically a homogeneous collection of data elements. The term homogeneous basically when I'm referring to the same type data element. So when you define an array, it is restricted to the data type you define along with like at the time of declaration. So if you have declared an integer array, you have to go with the integer data values only. But array list, on the other hand, is something non-generic, like where you can have multiple data type values as well. So at the end of the day, array list is something advanced than array because it comes with a lot of built-in methods and all. So that's also one of the difference. But one of the major difference is the heterogeneous and homogeneous nature of these two.
Let me tell an example. Okay, when you are running a school, okay, at present year, you are maintaining 30 students in a class. For this year, it is fixed. But for the next year, I'm not sure. So I want to store 30 students data for this year. But next year, I'm not sure. 35 students might come, 40 students might come. In this scenario, to store this students type of data, which container you will use? Array or array list? Because I'm not sure 40 is, the limit, or 45 could be the limit, or 50 also could be the limit. It might increase then.
Yes, sir. Actually, since the data is very dynamic and you do not know the number of values you may end up inserting, so definitely I would like to go with array list, as we need not to specify the size of the memory you need. You just create it and keep adding on it unless you have the internal memory.
Great. Little more depth on the same array list. Do you have any idea about array list background implementation, and which topic played major role in implementing the array list in .NET? I'm talking about C# implementation itself, C# compiler implementation. When they are implementing array list in C# compiler, what could be the concept they have applied for array list? Dynamic size increasing, right? I hope you might have got the clue. It is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They the pointers, I guess. The implementation of linked list that we have, whenever we need a dynamic memory, we always refer pointers. Usually the programming languages like Java and C# do not allow to use explicit pointers, though they make use of internal pointers. So I'm not sure. I guess like they might be using the pointers whenever the data is extended or the size is extended. With the help of pointers, they can get more extra memory from the OS.
Excellent, actually. Linked list is the background implementation for array list, even in Java, even C++, in C#, many places, list in Python. For all these things, background implementation is linked list. That's how it is. That is the reason why it is increasing. Can you tell one case where array, dominates array list? One example. I have to go, in this case, I have to go array for effective implementation. Can you tell when we will think about this case?
Array. I guess when I'm using the algorithm like binary search, I guess in that case I'll be going with array, because in binary search we have to deal with indexes.
Yes. And some of the entities whose count doesn't get changed throughout their lifetime.
Okay.
Like you can take months. You want to maintain the data month-wise. 12 months, it never changed. No need to go for array list over there. If you want to maintain the students' data or employees' data month-wise. So it won't change more than 12 months, week wise. So at that time, we will use, still, we can prefer array. We can use array list also. But what is the disadvantage here? If I use array list, what is the disadvantage here?
In the scenario you mentioned of days, maybe extra memory, sir.
Super, excellent. Yes, memory will, lot of memory will be occupied by for array list because their underlying implementation is linked list. Okay. Let us go for object-oriented programming. Okay. Yeah.
Sure, sir.
What is the main purpose that strikes to our mind when we are using object-oriented programming? What is the main purpose and advantage we are getting?
Sure, sir. Personally, I felt when I was switched from C programming language to a programming language like C++ or Java, I personally felt the security of the data is very important in object-oriented programming, and it's OOP is a paradigm that like focus most on the security of the data. But if you check the C programming language, the procedure-oriented programming, the data is directly passed between different entities. Two different entities which are having nothing in common, still they are able to access each other's data, and that's not secure, I guess. So object-oriented programming idea is very cool. Like it's very good. Like you have separate objects for separate functionalities, and one object is not at all sharing the data with each other unless it's static. So that's one of the reasons we should prefer OOP, because of the security of the data.
Excellent. That is right. Yes. So how do you secure implementation wise? I am asking the solution implementation wise. So object-oriented programming we will use to secure the data. But how do you secure implementation wise? Take example of class or data members or anything.
Sure, sir. There are a lot of things to secure the data. Like I can perform encapsulation, because every time my data is not available directly, it is encapsulated within an object and methods. There is one way. And second way is the data accessibility. My data is not always accessible to the outside world because I have a lot of access modifiers made available. So these are also, I can protect the data and I can define the security level of the data till where my data should be available, something like this. So data encapsulation and abstraction, these two could be the means of securing the data.
Okay. For implementing encapsulation, what features of object-oriented programming you will apply?
I'll have data members, I'll have a method, and I'll create an object. And my data and methods would be encapsulated within that object.
Yeah, that is correct. They are the entities which are involving in encapsulation. My question is what feature? Farkan, your video, yeah, no, you are back, right? What features I am asking? Object-oriented features. Like I will give a clue of specifiers, access specifiers, and other concept which we will use. These two things together you will use to implement encapsulation to protect the data.
Yeah, one, as you mentioned, access specifier would be one. I could not think of second one. Sorry, sir.
So yeah, I will give clue. So that
Sure.
will bring you some idea. Can any see? There are two classes. Second class can access first class. First class data members.
No, sir. No, sir.
Why?
Because it's accessibility. If the data member is private, protected, then they cannot be used unless it's derived. And if it's a public, then only they can use.
Why second class is not able to access first class data?
Because it's completely different. Yeah, out of the scope.
Yes. So whenever we say that encapsulation, most of us we will say that even data access specifiers. But along with access specifiers, if you are not telling the scope where this member is limited to, where this is restricted to, other class also can access.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
So security is with respect to the data members using access specifiers plus class. Then it is full meaning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I will tell an example. I want to construct a building. Building plan on the paper. I planned to construct a building. That goes, as an example for class. or for object?
Since the plan, what you have telling me that's basically a kind of a schema, it's a structure. So it would be a class, sir. A
Could be a
class.
class.
Yes, sir.
Great. So can you guess a name when this will become object?
Come again, sir.
When this will become an object? This plan I want to know. If I give that one, it will give a direct answer. I want to convert this plan to an object.
Yes, sir. Then I'll start with my actual working on that. I'll define methods to construct the walls, the pillars. Once that's done, so this is how I can convert my plan into an object. So in context of object-oriented programming, I clearly define the methods, data members. I've defined a plan, and now after creating objects, it's actually implementation of it.
Right. Construction of the building.
Yes, sir.
Construction of the building will become automatically object for this. Okay.
Yes.
Why we are saying that construction of building is object for this? Because after construction that exists physically, occupies space. In software terminology, it occupies memory.
Yes, sir. Yes.
What happens when all the functions in a class are private?
Yes, sir. If basically the private access specifier will restrict any data per data member, it could be a property, it could be a data member, or it could be a method, to that class only. The scope of that method would be within that class only. So if like all the methods are private, then those methods and that class would be underutilized unless there is at least one public method which will indirectly utilize all the private methods. If even constructor is private, then we cannot even construct the object for it. So I guess it would be underutilized if we do not make either at least one of them as public.
Okay. Think about applying static over there.
If I apply static to a private method, then it's definitely accessible to a class.
I can call static function from driver program from outside of that class. Let that static function can access the private data inside the class, because static is also belong to same class.
Yes, so that's a good idea.
That is one of the design pattern, actually Singleton design pattern, powerful design pattern we can apply over there.
Yes.
Next, yeah, static concept. Can we use this command within a static method?
No,
This
sir.
operator.
No, sir, we cannot. So am I audible? I'm getting that low bandwidth error. Am I audible now? Actually, I cannot see Hanuman sir, so that's why I've asked.
Okay, I think there is some bandwidth issue. It looks
Hello?
like, yeah. Hanumant, you are audible. Maybe because of bandwidth, something is problematic. You can switch off your video and continue, Hanumant.
Hello, Vishal, you are able to hear me?
Yes, Hanumant.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello. Hello, Hanumant.
Voice is not audible.
Anumant, you can continue.
Yes. I could not able to see Farkan face or anyone. That's the reason I thought something network issue.
Yeah, but we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, please continue, Hanumant.
Yeah. Thank you, Vishal. Yeah. My next question is, Farkan, can we use this operator inside a static function?
No, sir, we cannot, as both of them are having different access levels. This is something that belongs to a particular object. This is something that's like tells a method which object is calling you. And static is something that we never call from object, we call it from a class. So I guess we cannot.
Why it is restricted? Why it is restricted like that? We cannot use this operator inside a function. Why it is restricted like that? There is a perfect, proof we will get if we think about it.
Okay, sir. I could not come up with exact application, but I could say like probably for the isolation of the different access levels, because something which is a class level is something is a class level and something is object level, and object data should be restricted to the object itself. So maybe that could be one of the reasons.
Okay. Static can be called using class without object.
Yes, sir.
But the variable, on which you are applying this operator will be active only when object is created.
Yes, sir.
What if I call the static function before creating object? That variable will not be active, which is used inside that function.
Okay, so calling a method after just prior to the object instantiation.
Yes, correct. Because the variables I am using inside that function, with respect to those variables, will come into active state once you create the object. But static function I can call without creating any object. When I call the
So
function,
then in that case, what will be the value of this?
that is the reason why it is not allowed to use that this operator inside the static function. You got it?
Yes, sir, exactly.
Because it's not allowed, because object itself not available. So where is the chance of that property? But that function can be called without creating object because it is static in nature.
Yes, sir, sure.
The variable is active when you create object. This contradiction is there. That's the reason why it's not allowed. It's not only in C#. It is the concept. Most of the places it is that only. Most of the programming languages.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So what is an abstract class, Farkan?
So abstract class is a class basically where we like a class having an abstract method. So basically, when an abstract method, it's a method which is supposed to be implemented. It's kind of a rule. It's supposed to be implemented by the class which is extending the base class. So in that case, if we want to make some class as a base for short, that we want someone to implement it, then in that case, I'll declare that class as abstract, and I will have an abstract method in it.
Okay. Why? When should I make a class or entity as an abstract? When should I? Any example?
So I could not come up with an example for C#, but if we take an example of Java, then in applet we have a pent class, a pent method, and it's a mandatory on us to implement it. We cannot leave it like unimplemented. So in that case, we have to go with abstract class when we are applying some rule, like this has to be done by any user of it. So in that case, I'll make that class abstract before providing the service to the end user.
Yeah. When we don't know the exact behavior of an entity, let's simple example. There is a class shape. Rectangle is there, triangle is there. Rectangle is there, triangle is there. Area of rectangle, we know. Area of triangle, we know. What is the area of shape? If we define a function inside a shape class, area, what is that area? Can you tell? Area of a shape. Which shape?
Yes, sir. I should know the specific shape.
When we are not sure about any behavior of any entity, then we'll declare that entity as abstract. That is one of the perfect, design thinking levels. Example I told you, shape, area of shape. Which shape? I don't know.
Yes, so we are not sure about.
Yeah. When will I come to know area of which shape?
When someone implements me.
Concrete level, like rectangle class, triangle class derived from shape class.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Yeah. what are the various types of errors you have come across as part of your learning in when you are writing C# coding?
Yes, sir, there are plenty of experience I can share with you, but I would like to share the most often the errors I've faced. So one error, like this is not the error exactly I've faced in only C#, but in many programming languages, in Java and Python as well. It's an error of shallow copy and deep copy. So like basically whenever I'm learning a particular programming language, I should know whenever I'm copying one data to another, it is whether it is internally performing shallow copy or a deep copy. Same, like I was implementing a code in Python. I have just copied one list to another, but whenever I'm making a changes to one list, it got reflected to other one as well, because Python by default performs the shallow copy. So it was one of the logical errors I was never able to find it unless I got some help from some seniors. So that's one of the errors. And second one, I would appreciate if I get a help in this from your end as well. So second one is like, I've also posted this multiple times in Stack Overflow or Quora kind of forums as well. So it's the error that I've faced in Java as well as C#. So whenever we are implementing exception handling, so there is a divide by zero error. So whenever we attempt to divide something by zero, definitely it will throw an error, and catch will catch the exception and print the necessary data. It's valid as long as I'm using integer data. The moment I switch and use everything as double or a float, it's instead of calling exception handling mechanism, it directly prints the infinity. So that's one of the errors I faced in both the languages, Java as well as C#.
Excellent. See, that's what I expected. Main runtime errors I expected. So exceptions, right? Other than divide by zero, can you give any other examples for an exception?
So it's a null pointer exception when without even knowing to like when I declare a variable just by writing a class name and then a variable, it's a reference. It's not a proper object unless I allocate a memory to it. So many times I come across a situation, I just create references and call methods. So that time compiler always throw the reference error like null reference pointer exception, and you cannot call such things. So this is one of the exceptions I have faced.
Anything? Lot of things we will use, but we will not recollect. Lot of things are there.
That's why I said there are plenty of them. Uh, Other than this, one is like many times when I'm attempting a solution for any HackerRank problem, I always get index out of bound exception because my logic is basically comparing first value to the second value. But there is one situation in my program where my pointer is pointing to the last value of an array, and writing I+1 to that value will definitely lead to the exception. So I have to separately take care of it. So that's one of the exceptions I've also faced many times.
Okay. When you are accessing a file, that file may be
yes, so when I'm accessing a file, naming errors are there. If file is not like maybe name is wrong, probably the file has got deleted from me. So that's also the file not found error is also one of the exceptions I faced.
When you are writing a program to connect to a printer, but printer drivers are not installed.
Sorry, sir, but I haven't written a program for printer as of now.
It's a perfect example for exceptions. Because
yes,
third-party
sir,
libraries are not there.
It's completely a runtime situation, and it may occur.
Anything you can think about exceptions?
About exceptions.
Examples, yes.
Yes, sir. Actually, apart from this, there are sometimes exceptions that like custom user-defined exceptions as well. So sometimes based on application context, you have to design the like exceptions. So sometimes like those kind of exceptions I have also faced. So yes, like I was designing an application for banking. I remember like in my pointing, it was a very basic withdraw and normal banking application. So I have to design design a separate exceptions in Java for this balance could not be less than zero exception, and also like there are other exceptions as well when the limit of a particular card, something like this. So these are also the user-defined exceptions that we have to think of when we are designing application.
Lots of things are there actually. When you are connecting to the database not exist.
Yes,
when you are connecting a table itself not exist. When you are referring a column, that does not exist. Lot of examples are there. When you are trying to create your own memory, like any programming language array list, sometimes RAM is completely occupied by all the applications. Then also you'll get runtime error.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we have some quick questions, some of the questions on ADO.NET?
Sure, sir.
You are comfortable with the ADO.NET?
Yes, sir. I'm a beginner for ADO.NET. I've recently started working on ADO.NET.
Okay. What are the different types of architectures available in ADO.NET?
So basically, there are two of them: connected architecture and a disconnected architecture.
So which namespace you will prefer when you want to include ADO.NET into your program?
Actually, there is no specific namespace, sir, but still there is one parent namespace like system.data. Then that system.data is having a lot of sub namespaces, like SQL client is there, which is specific to SQL server. If I'm using Oracle, I have to go with Oracle client namespace. So based on the database you're referring to, you have to decide your namespace.
Okay. Can you tell me the order of the classes that I want to create in order to connect to database and fetch the database, fetch the data from database? Order I want, like
Okay, sir.
adapter, provider. I just want to know from you.
Sure, sir. So very first, I would like to create the connection with the database. So first would be a connection class. Second would be I have to definitely, if I'm connecting to a database, I'm going to perform some operations. So for that, I need a command. And that command I can create with the help of creating like a command class. So second one would be a command. Third one would be connecting to a database. Though I have a connection class, I have commands with me, but still in ADO.NET, as I said, there are architectures like connected and disconnected. So I have to first fetch the database and load it into some class. Like it's like a mapping of my relational data into an object data. So maybe I will go with a data adapter that will map my data available in database into a data set. Data set is basically a class which will, it's an object-oriented representation of the data in a table. So I'll copy the data from table using adapter and then store it into a data set. So as of now, I'm done with connection, I'm done with command, and now it's finally the time I can execute my query.
Okay.
So that could be done with the help of adapter commands. So this is how, and at the end I'll close the connection. So this is the order I'll follow to connect to a database.
One last question from technical round. Did you try to test your technical knowledge by participating in any coding challenges platforms like HackerRank, Hackathon? Did you try to test your knowledge by participating in those channels? If so,
Yes,
what
sir.
is the difference experience you got? Just brief me quickly.
Sure, sir. In lead code, we always have every end of the month, we have a challenge in lead code. So basically lead code will provide you 30 days coding challenge. You have to participate for 30 days consecutively. And then on 30th day, there will be a big challenge. So I participated in that particular lead code challenge every time. And I personally felt that definitely having knowledge of syntaxes, having knowledge of any programming language it could be, won't help me, like not solely, will not help me to clear that challenge. Definitely, I need to make sure my basics are very clear. And when I'm saying basics, I'm referring to the data structures I'm going to use, algorithm that I'm going to use, and at the end, the logic that I'm going to build. So this is what I realize I need to work on whenever I'm like, doesn't matter which programming language it is. Learning a programming language is not a big deal, but at the same time, you have to understand the insights. At the same time, you should make sure you are clear with the basics, algorithms and data structures.
Thank you. That's it from technical round. Over to Vishal and Spradha.
Yeah, thank you, Anumant. Yeah, Spradha, you can continue. Thanks.
Hi, Furkan.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah. So Furkan, what project have you worked in? Have you built up any project?
Yes, ma'am. in my final year of engineering for the first semester, I got a project from my college. It's a requirement from my college. Our college needs a training and placement management system. So me, along with my partner, have accepted that project, and we are basically working on it using Flask as the backend and different UI technologies.
Okay, so how did you go about? What part did you work in? How did
Majorly, yes, ma'am. Basically, we have divided the project into two parts. We basically work together only, but still we have divided it into two parts. My friend basically works on the front end, designing all the UI part, and basically I'm here to create the APIs based on the front end that he has designed. So at the end of the day, together with the help of each other, we can connect to the front end and back end with the help of APIs.
So what challenges did you face when you were developing this project?
Ma'am, definitely there are technical challenges, but the biggest challenge is change in requirements. Because every time whenever we are having a demo with director madam, every time we get new requirements, and as a developer, and at the same time I'm not a good at Flask, so I have to learn and then implement. Same is the case with my friend as well. Learn and implement, and at that point of time where we have academics as well, and at the same time a lot of requirements are there. So we created the thing and making changes. Sometimes they are asking us to integrate our project with some database technology which is already available in a college. So college is using ASP, and now we have already designed a lot of project in Flask. So change is one of the biggest challenge we are facing.
Okay, so once you enter the IT industry, so change request is something that is part of, I would say every project, right? So how would you go about that now, since you have already learned from that? So once your manager comes and tells you, so this was the design that was proposed by the client, but there is a certain little change in this, but the time duration of completion remains the same. So how will you tackle that?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I would like to, I would make sure that I'm very clear with whatever document I have been provided with, like the software requirement specifications or whatever the communication is already made with the client. So I'll make sure that it's very clear to me. And definitely, whenever I'm entering the IT industry, I have to keep this in my mind, like change is inevitable and I have to adapt it. We are, like the change could be there, definitely. The change could be there in requirement. So if deadline is there, if deadline is there and there is a change, and if there is a requirement for me to implement it within a time, then definitely I'll work hard. I'll spend extra time and I'll make sure that it would be implemented within a time.
All right. And suppose the change now is with respect to the technology. Now, suppose the client plans to migrate the project into a different platform altogether. Although you will be told that you are given the bandwidth to learn the new technology, will you be willing to move on to a new thing?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I have heard of a lot of examples of changing and migrating in the different technologies. And I have also seen like the client have been changing a database completely, database technology, like migrating from MySQL directly to Oracle. So definitely it's going to be there. So we will try to make our project as generic as possible. For example, I'll not restrict my project to a particular database. I'll try to make use of ORMs. The ORM would make the database part generic. Most of the times we'll try to make it generic, but still if it is not possible, then definitely I have to migrate. So I'll accept the change and I'll look forward to it.
Okay. Now suppose it's a typical scenario. Suppose it's a very critical project and you are in some delivery that has to be delivered within 1 or 2 days, but some of your team member could not make it because, some family issues, some personal issues, anything like that. And you have been told to fill his or her shoes. So how would you take that along with your work, getting on to that work?
Yes, ma'am, it's definitely a critical situation. In this case, I'll first discuss the same with my project lead. I'll explain all the situation, my personal situation, that whatever deliverables are made available to me, and I'll try to get some issue resolvents from their side. But if it's not possible, then I will help my friend who is not available due to some reason. So I have to manage both the activities. So, but first I'll prefer to discuss with my seniors and then I'll act accordingly.
Okay. You're in the safe boat, right? You want to discuss first and then you want to say yes. Straight away, you're not going to say yes. Okay. All right. So where do you see yourself after 2 years? What in technology wise, like how do you want to grow yourself? What do you want to achieve?
Yes, ma'am. In next 2 years, like I have, like whenever it's a situation where I have to choose between technologies. Like I have came across this situation many times when we are in final year. So many times we have been given electives. So in electives, both the subjects are very good based on today's technology. Like if we have been given a chance on cloud computing and on the other side we having big data, both of them are very important. So I'll make sure that whatever the technologies are currently like very important in today's market that I could not get a chance due to the selectives and all to learn. So definitely I would like to go for it. And like definitely there are other platforms as well. But if I get a chance to work on the projects based on those technologies, then definitely I will look forward into it. So these the technologies I like to like work on next 2 years that I missed. I could not get a chance.
Okay. All right. One last question. What is Agile?
There are different software development models we have, waterfall models we have a lot of models. So Agile is one of the software practice being followed by multiple industries. Agile is a practice where we give an importance to the change, like we are very flexible to change. If we are following Agile, we are very flexible to change. We are very like our communications is very good. Like we are very focused on communication. This is one of the features of Agile. So one of the kind of software development paradigm we follow.
Okay. Okay, I am done. Over to you, Vishal. Vishal, you're
Voice
on.
is not audible, Vishal.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thanks, Pradha. So Furkan, throughout I have enjoyed this conversation, what you had with Anumant, what you had with Pradha, starting from the very first question when you were asked to introduce yourself. Okay. So no specific question, just one thing I would like to know. I might have missed out if you have shared it. Which is your favorite sports game and why?
Yes, sir. So there are plenty of them, but personally, I play every day. Even today, I play it every day. Personally, by visiting to a court. It's a badminton. I like it because it involves a lot of uh, movements. Definitely, there are the things in other sports as well, but personally, I like badminton a lot.
Okay. So is it any other reason why you love this game much more than other? You said personally you like it. I want to know, is there any other reason? See, the question is like how much you introspect about yourself. That is the real question. I'm putting it in badminton now.
Yes, sir. So actually, there are a lot of things to learn from different sports. If it's a cricket, it's a teamwork. If it's other game, then definitely are there. But if it's a badminton, then if I'm talking about solo, like one-to-one badminton, it's like you have to handle the pressure you have on your own. There is no one else going to come with you. They will say do that, do this, because you are in a game. So it was a pressure that you have to do it on your own, and there you have to make a lot of decisions. You will go into the pressure situation where the points are equal, and probably suppose it's a gold match, so there you are the only one and you have to decide based on the situation. So probably this is one of the reasons.
Good. Yeah, thank you, Furkan. So thanks all. The interview is done. Let's go to the feedback and what the panelists have to share with the audience. So the audience here, we have campus associates also who would have appeared for NQT test recently and now waiting for the next rounds. And we also have a pool of candidates who will be appearing for our off-campus interviews, which will be scheduled sometime in this month. Okay. So keeping both the audience in mind, Hanumant, you can share some feedback from today's interaction with Furkan and any generic guidelines you want to share with the audience. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Vishal. Hello all. One of the important thing I just want to share with you all is, see, during the interview, whenever you are answering for any question, raised by an interviewer, your answer should be, very straightforward, and it should not create any contradiction. That your answer should not allow to, it should not allow the interviewer to raise another question from your answer. So you need to be very careful. In case if the interviewer asked, he got some doubt in your answer. Okay. In case if he asks also, you should be in a position to tell. So your answer should be that clear. Let us say simple example. When you ask some question, I answered. That answer itself does not create any contradiction to the interviewer. So if you are preparing in that way, then you won't get any further question on the same topic from your answer. That is first thing. And second thing is, as usual, I'm telling, when you are comfortable, when you are practicing well, in any platform like Eclipse or C# Visual Studio or any other channels, when you are practicing, okay, we will get all the practice very well and all. But how do you test yourself when compared to others? Let us say today Furkan answered very well. How Furkan test himself, how good he is when compared to others? These things are possible if and only if he participate in any challenges platforms, like coding challenges platforms, like HackerRank, HackerRed, BrainBench. They will rate you actually after completion of your assessment. They will rate you. What is your position till now? How many associates taken in that count? What is your position? Like that you will get. So you will understand what is your level, where you need to improve. When you take challenges through any challenges platforms like HackerRank, HackerRed, and as well as BrainBench, all these things. So these two things I just thought of informing them, Vishal. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Yeah, thank you, Hanumant. Sprada, your feedback and suggestions, please.
Yeah, so as Anwar mentioned, practice a lot of problems before entering for an interview. Look at the main topics. You should be well versed with clear on all the topics. So that should be, I think that's, you should go for that. Yeah.
Thank you. So Furkan, over to you. Since you have joined TCS just before a few months, right? So what guidelines you want to share with your juniors? Okay. And plus, there would be some peers also who might appear for off-campus interviews. You can please go ahead, and if you have any questions, we can also respond. Please, Furkan, go ahead.
Sure, sir. Thank you. The thing actually, Hanuman sir and Sprada ma'am have described almost everything that you should follow when you're appearing for the interview. One thing I would like to mention, based on the experience of one of my friends, that he personally, like I was there when he was giving an interview. So he actually, my friend was not very specific to his resume. He have just specified the technologies that he don't even know. So all I can say is be very make sure the things that you specify resume are resume is representing yourself. So if the interviewer is asking you a question which is from your resume and you're not able to answer, probably that would not be a good impression. So make sure you spend some time on resume. Do not just make the resume in last 5 minutes of the interview. Spend some time of at least half an hour or almost 45 minutes on a resume. So that would be the one thing I would like to mention.
Sure. Sure. Thanks, Furkan. So yeah, just I would sum up with the feedback on today's session, and then I will also share certain guidelines, which some of those are repeated and some of those will be specific because today's session is the last session of this simulation series. Okay. See, I was really impressed with the way Furkan introduced himself. Within 2-3 minutes, kind of everything was clear, Okay, we could very well judge that on technology side to what depth he has the expertise, on his personal front, family front, additionally, what all things he has done, going extra mile. Okay. See, most of you will get that initial 2 minutes, right? If you make highest possible impact during those 2 minutes, I am sure most likely, that will sail through. Okay. So Furkan mentioned about resume. Yes, resume has an impact. It definitely has an impact. As an interview panel, when you come, we open your resume and we look at a few things which you have done. Okay. When you are introducing yourself, be very specific about the projects which you have done. Now, projects applies to all CS guys also, non-CS guys also, correct? Irrespective of your background, you have done some projects in your college. Okay. After college also, you might have done some projects, correct? So highlight that, speak about those technologies, okay, to create that initial impact. Furkan was little bit fast in sharing those details, right? So that pace of your speech also matters a little bit when it is on video conference. Okay. See, one-to-one, you are on front of the panel. So what you speak is continuously, that gets into our mind and we can analyze. But when it is video conferencing, it is very easy. You can just practice with your friends. Okay. Say, 3 friends, you can sit together and you can simulate. But when you do that, don't take it as a fun, take it very seriously. Correct? In fact, see, one of the very first session, if you see, I myself simulated as the candidate. Okay, and it was looking very professional. So that same way you can always simulate. Correct? And you guys have all your group chat, WhatsApp chats, your Insta video call, anything you can use for this kind of simulation. Okay. And when you simulate, after simulation, be very open for the feedback. Okay. This simulation feedback should not be the reason to fight later on. Correct? Be open for any feedback. Plus, if you are simulating as a panelist, technical or MR, give very critical feedback to your friend. Okay. See, your success, not only for this interview, for your career, lies in how you take critical feedback on your performance. Okay. See, many times we have faced in our career, like we feel we have performed at our best, and suddenly there is a critical feedback which is very negative. How do we take it? Do we take it on personal ground, or do we really feel that yes, some minor things and this could have been taken care? So let us improve on it. Okay. Yeah, just for Furkan, he was little fast, but I thought of touch basing about this concept. And then Furkan was very realistic, even after doing so many projects, and he mentioned about Unity software, gaming things which he has done. So yes, on learning front, he has definitely gone extra mile, but still he rated 6 out of 10, which is realistic. Correct. So rate yourself. See, your own rating doesn't make you down. Sometimes we feel if I speak 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10, panel would feel, am I not that good? See, interview is not an exam. Correct? Interview is a discussion. Through that discussion, the panel tries to understand how well you can fit into the organization. Okay. Some of you might have thought that, do we need this level of expertise what Furkan was speaking about? You may not need this level of expertise. Okay. Say, in C# or Java or Python, if you know the basics well, if you are able to convince that yes, you have practiced, okay, and you are open to learn, your communication is good enough to convey what you want. Okay, you don't need to be very, very fluent in English, right? That is not the expectation, but what you are trying to convey, is it clear to the audience? That much is required. Correct? See, from there, we try to judge and fit you in the next step. That will he or she be able to reach to this level when we put them in this role or this path? Do we see that output coming from you in future? Once we are convinced, you are through. Okay. So that was about today's interview. Rest of the things he answered very well. And see, my question to him was on which is his favorite game. Correct. So this is also very important, how you introspect about yourself. Okay. Do you know your real strengths, your real areas where you need to improve? Correct. See, keep introspecting about yourself. Take that at least 30 minutes time every day. Correct. Write down somewhere, take notes about yourself, that I believe these are the things today, starting from morning till night, these are the things I did very well. And these are the things probably, my reaction, right? Or how I handle that situation could have been better. Okay. And it will become real fun if you practice this, because you might even notice small things gradually, that okay, I had overeaten in my lunch or dinner, I could avoid this. Okay, these are all things which come out, and indirectly this will make you much more, this will improve your performance to next level in all aspects. Okay, so try doing this, right? See, all of you, your interviews are not coming up just tomorrow. Okay, campus guys, I think it would come up after a few days. Off campus guys, it will take time. It will take at least 2 weeks time. Okay, some of you are asking me questions like, I appeared for test before last year, will I be considered for direct interview from off campus? See, we don't have any answers to these questions. You only need to wait for next communication, whether it is test or direct interview, if you have cleared in test last year. Okay, but go with default, you will have to appear for test. Prepare that way. If test is not there, well and good, your test preparation will help you in the interviews. Correct? Because even for interview, you will be confident to answer if and only if you have done that particular topic with more and more hands-on. Okay. Just say, Hanumant was asking about all runtime exceptions and everything. So since Furkan has done it, correct, he was able to convey that, see, this is how it works, this is how it didn't work. Correct. Now, if you just try to think around theory and try to answer it, panel can very easily make out how much you have done hands-on. Okay. See, programming or any IT technology, if you look at table of content in a book, there will be hundreds of topics. We don't want expertise in all 100. But say 15, 20 main topics, have you done good hands-on? That is required. Correct? So yes, CS background students or candidates, since you are from CS background, yeah, your technologies where you are the best, please convey that upfront while introducing about yourself. Your resume also should highlight 2-3 best of your technologies. Okay, so more than 90% chance you will be interviewed on those technologies, because we really want to see where you are the best. We are not interested where you need more improvement. That we will take care, subject to where you are best is meeting our criteria. Correct? Next is non-CS background associates. Okay. See, you are applying for IT company. If you directly jump into interview and say, I am from electrical and I don't know programming. See, your decision to apply for IT company, you had taken back in July if you are from campus, correct? Off campus means almost 6 months back or a year back also you would have tried applying in IT company. So if you see your career in IT company, have you learned some technologies to certain level? Correct. Say if CS background associates would reach 7 out of 10, have you tried to reach 3 out of 10 in the same technology? Take Java, take Python, take C++, C#, any programming language. Have you reached to that level? What are your efforts? Correct? That definitely will be observed. And once we are convinced that even from non-CS background, the person has done this much in this much of time, which is good enough, yeah, we can switch to all the questions from your own technology areas. If you are from mechanical, yeah, we can get in. We can ask about, okay, tell us about your mechanical projects, your favorite subjects, all different case studies, teamwork activities you would have done there. Yeah, those things will again showcase your confidence, right? Now see, till you guys simulate with your friends, again, our session will remain as a theory, correct? See, the entire series of 6 sessions, and wherein in these 6 sessions, we also had 2 candidates from our own team, like Furkan, who were from electronics background. Okay, so please go and watch those past videos. Yeah, those we may not have shared with off-campus group. I'll be sharing it very soon with you guys also. All right. So off-campus group, you will also get the first 4 recordings because we involved you just from last session. Okay. And yes, basic communication is must. How to improve communication? See, there is one very easy way. You identify best of the English series, either in Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever. Okay. View that with English subtitles. View that with English subtitles, not with our regional language, Hindi or something. Correct? If you don't understand, go back and scroll it again. Okay. Best is to go with comedy series because ultimately it's fun. You will laugh. You will not feel that stressful thing that, okay, you have to learn something here. Right? Keep doing that repeatedly. See, communication would reach to certain level gradually. There is no standard rule that it will improve within 24 hours. But if you keep this way, I am sure it will reach to that level. And you will also feel surprised that how come I am able to understand English very well, right? Speaking, you have to simulate with your friends. More you speak, more you feel that confidence. All right, guys. So thank you very much. Anything else, Furkan, Sprada, Hanumant, before we close the session?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. Wishing you all the best and do well. We will stay connected. Thank you. Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone.
All the best.
Thank you, Vishal, Furkan.